What is going on, everyone? Today is March 23rd, 2012. I'm DSP, and it's time again for us to update my gaming schedule calendar. And a lot of people have been asking for this. I've not updated this since way back in like December/January, and it is very outdated. As you can see, many of these months have lots of gaps that hopefully today we will be filling in. I do want to say I apologize. I am under the weather because my allergies have kicked into high gear today. As you can probably hear a little bit in my voice, I am congested, and it is a pain in my ass right now because I've planned on doing more filming today than I know I'm going to get to, but it is what it is. But I said, you know what, this is a video a lot of people want to see, and it's not a huge strain on me to do it. So I went ahead and did the research, and so let's get right into it. Now today, as I said, is February 23rd. Today is March 23rd, 2012. This is today right here. And so right there on the calendar you can see I wrote Kid Icarus, because Kid Icarus actually came out for the Nintendo 3DS today. Now I did not have a chance to pick it up. More than likely, I will not be picking it up until next week, or when I get a chance in this next coming week to head out to the game store to reserve all these games that I'm about to talk about. So, I will be playing it eventually. I will be reviewing it. Actually, for those interested, I just beat Golden Sun Dark Dawn for the DS, and I've started playing Super Mario 3D Land. So that will be the next modern handheld review will be Super Mario 3D Land once I beat it, and then I'll move on to other games. But I will be picking that up eventually. Now, this next week, which is the last week of March, is pretty much a free week. There were supposed to be a couple games that were supposed to be coming out by the end of this month, including Skullgirls. It just didn't happen, okay? So what we have, and I'm going to say thank the Lord that we have this, is a completely free week with no major releases. This is going to give me significant time to catch up on a lot of games that I have not had a chance to play. So for example, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, Tales of Grace's F, Yakuza Dark Souls again. Yakuza Dead Souls. I can't get Dark Souls off of my head. Blades of Time. The Final Case of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, or not Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, was Phoenix Wright Justice for All, which I've never gotten to. Like, there's like literally like 5 to 6 games lingering that I haven't had a chance to play. Plus, in addition to that, okay, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which I want to keep playing. So this is good because this is going to give me freedom during this week to take a few days and maybe catch up on some games I haven't had a chance to play. So really, I'm not putting anything for this last week of March because it's like a catch-up week, okay? And this leads us into April. Now, this first week of April is also kind of interesting because on April 3rd, the only things that come out are Devil May Cry HD Collection, which is a game that I'm definitely going to pick it up. I did dabble a little bit in the Devil May Cries, but I never actually played through one of them. I know a lot of people right now are shitting their pants. They're like, are you kidding me? You never played a Devil May Cry game? I actually played like the demos and stuff of them in stores, but I never was into it to the point where I bought one. So I'm going to pick that up. I'm not saying that I'm going to play it that week. As you know, I already have Silent Hill HD Collection. I'm picking up these HD collections as filler for weeks when there's downtime, okay? Now, what I do want to remind everyone is that on April 1st, I always do an April Fool's special. So I will be having a special that I will be uploading on April 1st. I'm not going to spoil what it is, obviously, but it's something I've had in the works for a while. I always try to do something cool for it, so expect the April Fool's special on April 1st, and then I'll be picking up Devil May Cry HD Collection on April 3rd, but I probably won't be playing it. Actually, Connect Star Wars comes out that day. I might play it. I think I'm going to get it. I've not done a Connect game in quite a long time, and it might be fun to just fuck around with it. Now, keep in mind, I can't do a full Connect game by myself in one day because it's a lot of, number one, it's a lot of physical movement, you know what I mean, walking around or whatever to do it. Number two, I would have to man 2 cameras at once, which actually I've done it before, but it's pretty difficult. So, to man 2 cameras at once, it may not be something I can undertake for extended periods of time, because as you know, I do the picture-in-picture, but I'm looking to do that. Now, here's the thing, okay? Let's talk a little bit here. This weekend, which is supposed to be, I was going to go to PAX East, but that's out because PAX East and all their wisdom decided to go big time They're now extremely corporate, and they turned down not only my panel, but several panel of people who I've talked to who used to be able to get into an event like this. They basically turned down everyone who isn't in like a fucking corporation. So here's this grassroots group of guys who grew up doing a internet cartoon, a weekly or a daily internet cartoon that blew up because the fan base supported them. Ended up financially supporting them to the point where they could run these huge conventions. And what do? They turn their back on their fans and go corporate and basically say, we're not going to allow anyone to do anything at this unless you're like a giant game developer. So fuck PAX East and fuck Gabe and Tycho. Even though they are good people, I do know they run Child's Play and all that. To totally take your business, which small grassroots fans basically built you up to the point where you are, and then to fucking spit on them is kind of despicable. So that's all I have to say about that. I'm not going to PAX East, okay? That being said, this weekend is my birthday, okay? And so I'm going to actually be busy that weekend. I'm going to spend some time with my girlfriend. So there may or may not be gameplay that weekend. It all depends on if we pick up something we want to play. Maybe we'll do some Connect Star Wars together. I don't know. It all depends. I don't know if we're going to have a game we want to play at this point. Considering we just did the Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City playthrough together, we may just take it easy and have a nice relaxing weekend together. So here's the thing, okay? Xenoblade Chronicles comes out on the 6th. Why? Because it's a Wii game, and Wii games like to come out on fucking stupid days. If it had come out on that Tuesday, I could have played it during the week. But they decide to release their games on Fridays because they're fucking idiots. And on top of that, Good Friday, it's a holiday, and it's my birthday. So probably I wouldn't have played it anyway on that day. But anyway, I will be picking that game up eventually, and what it's looking like, seeing that, you know, this next week, if you take a look, there are no major releases that next week. I will probably be picking up Xenoblade Chronicles possibly this week and playing it this week, okay? What else do I want to say about this? Let's see here. There was something else I wanted to say about my birthday weekend, and I can't remember. Oh well, it might come back to me. But anyway, since there are no major releases that week, you know, that I'll be playing Xenoblade Chronicles that week. The week after, there's 2 games. There's Sniper Elite V2, and I'm going to try that out. But then also, there's House of the Dead 4 on PlayStation Network. And it's funny, because John Rambo and I just recently played House of the Dead 3, and said to each other, gee, I wonder why House of the Dead 4 never came out, because that one was only in arcades. It never had a console port. Well, now come to find out, it will be ported on that day for the PlayStation Move. So more than likely, that will be something that we'll be doing the co-op for that weekend when John Rambo comes over, okay? Now keep in mind, there's a lot of... Xenoblade Chronicles may take me a week to beat, but you see, between Sniper Elite, might not be a lot in there. There might be some more time for filler in there, so we'll see what happens. The 24th is a busy day. You got Prototype 2, which I'm definitely interested in, and Risen 2 Dark Waters, and I should mention, from what I saw online, that's the PC version of the game. The console version, supposedly... Now, that could be wrong, because I'm just going by an online schedule. It looks like the console versions may not be coming out until May. So why on earth would I wait? I'm just going to get it for PC. It makes sense. I have a gaming PC, you know. Okay, moving on to May. May is a big month. Now, first of all, this is pretty good, funny. There's supposed to be an Avengers video game to coincide with the movie release, but there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of reports, it's canceled. Like, I guess they couldn't get the game together in time for the movie release. So I'm going to leave this on the calendar, but I get the feeling this game is not coming out, okay? If it comes out, I'll play it. So really the first major release we have in May is Starhawk on May 8th, which I already tried the beta for if you want to check that footage out. Then a week after that, we've got a giant day. We've got a triple threat. Max Payne 3, Diablo 3, Game of Thrones. That's going to be an insane week because I know Diablo 3 is going to be so fucking addicting. I'm going to want to play it so much because I did play Diablo and Diablo 2 and I got hooked on both of them. But I also do want to check out Max Payne 3, and I love Game of Thrones. I love the book series. I actually just watched most of Season 1 of the HBO series on Blu-ray, and I loved it. So I'm going to be wanting to play that game, okay? So that's going to be a fun week. Now, what other game comes out this week that you don't see on this calendar? Battleship. That's right. The game based on the movie, based on a board game. What the fuck? So... it's a shame because the game comes out the week of 3 pretty major releases, in my opinion. I think the game's going to get blown out of the water and no one's going to play it. But that's just my take on things. The week after that, we've got another 3 major giant heavy hitters here, okay? We've got Ghost Recon Future Soldier. We've got Dragon's Dogma. And then we've got Men in Black. Now, Men in Black being the movie tie-in game, maybe the game I do last. I guess we're going to have to see what happens, but all those are on the calendar for May. June. June is the month that I had nothing for. I now have many releases to put on here. Let's see. Look on June 5th, we've got Inversion, which is a game that plays around with gravity. And then we've also got Madagascar 3. To which you're probably saying, what the fuck, Phil? Madagascar 3, really? Well, it may be something interesting to play. A game of the type that I haven't played before. And I might try it out. I'm not saying I'm definitely going to play it, but I wanted to put it on there. On June 12th, we've got 2 games. We've got Lollipop Chainsaw. And we've also got Gravity Rush for the Vita. I'm sorry, I keep calling it the wrong thing, the Vita. And that might be one of the few PS Vita games that I buy this year. I've heard that that's one of the games that lots of people are looking forward to getting for it, and so I'm putting it on the calendar. I do want to mention that that weekend is Too Many Games, okay? Which is the gaming convention. We're just outside of Philadelphia. I think technically it might be in Philadelphia, but it is kind of just outside of it. And I am one of the featured guests at Too Many Games this year, along with the Angry Video Game Nerd. And there's going to be some really cool stuff going on. I don't want to spoil the news. I was told not to spoil the news yet. But once that announcement comes out, I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to go to Too Many Games. We will be doing not only a panel at Too Many Games for Project 7, but we will also be debuting some footage, whether or not it's the latest episode of Project 7, or it, like we did back in MagFest, or it may be some behind-the-scenes footage that I think people would love to see. We have some of this behind-the-scenes footage, and we haven't shown it to anyone yet. So, Too Many Games, if you want to know, what's set in stone for 2012, for what kind of gaming conventions I'm going to, that's pretty much the only one right now. There are other ones later on in the year we're looking at, but Too Many Games is set completely in stone. We will be there, and I definitely recommend if you're in this area, or if you can make it, that you go and check out that gaming convention, okay? Alright, so now, continuing on. 6/19, there's supposed to be a game called Clan of Champions, which is a cooperative RPG, and that might be a kind of game that maybe I could play with Rambo, or I could play with someone over the internet, a couple people. I think it's supposed to be up to 3-player co-op, so I guess we'll try to figure that out. That next week is huge, because you've got, holy fuck, there's 4 games. You've got Darksiders 2, you've got Amazing Spider-Man, supposedly, because I'm a little confused because I saw conflicting information. Some people are saying it's on June 3rd. Some people are saying it's on July 3rd. Some people are saying it's on June 26th. But I'll write it down anyway. You've got Spec Ops The Line. And we've got Sniper Ghost Warrior 2. So that's a lot of games for that week. That's going to be a pretty jam-packed week there. Alright, now moving on to July, we do have Anarchy Reigns on July 3rd there, okay? And Spider-Man, but besides that, so far, no games are really announced for July. You've got a couple there and then nothing. So, just like last year, if you remember, last year the slower months were July and August. And I fully believe that this year will probably be the same. July and August are going to be slower months. And that's going to be the opportunity for me to either, number one, catch up on the games that I have not had a chance to catch up on yet. Or, belch loudly. Or number two, to do special stuff. Now, if you remember last year, I did a couple cool special things. I believe that was one of the first times when I played a Phoenix Wright game. I believe that was one of the weeks that I had Mega Week, where I actually played Mega Man 1 through 6 on the NES. And keep in mind that I have now accumulated every single Mega Man X game on the original console it was released for, and so I may be playing that. I've also got some other games I've picked up. I have certain games that I've been acquiring over the past year with marathons in mind, and so these games I may be playing during those 2 months when there's very few games. So going along with that, really, in July there's nothing, and in August the only game that's really been announced is Madden. That's right. Madden 13. They're on August 28th, and that's it. So we'll go back in a couple months, once we get through April, May, and maybe into June, we'll re-explore July and August once we get to them, because right now the calendar is pretty much bare bones, okay? Now, in September, the games pick back up again. You've got Far Cry 3, I already have it there, on September 4th. You've got Borderlands 2 on September 18th. I've got that already on there. And actually, Dead or Alive 5 is supposed to come out sometime that month. Now, I see here September 29th. That doesn't make any sense because that's a Saturday. But what I'm going to write here is I'm going to just write Dead or Alive 5. So I do know it's supposed to come out that month, but I don't think the release date's been set in stone yet, okay? October, BioShock Infinite on October 16th. I've got that on there already. And it looks like also Medal of Honor Warfighter. Shit. Is the 23rd. So I've got that on there. Medal of Honor Warfighter. Okay? And Assassin's Creed 3. AC3 on the 30th. That's going to be a huge one, being that we're finally moving away from Ezio. We got a story of a new assassin. I think people will be excited about that. The American Revolutionary War is going to be a cool setting for an Assassin's Creed game. And then in November, we've got Resident Evil 6, which I already have on there for the 20th. And then supposedly, and this is what's weird, I had a date of the 30th, so I don't know, but I'm going to write WWE 13 on there. And that's on there. There's supposed to be an XCOM game. That's a strategy-style XCOM game that was supposed to come out in December. I had that on there, but there's no date. Also, keep in mind, Epic Mickey 2, which is now going to be for every console in HD, is supposed to come out by the end of the year. So that might be something we're wrapping up in December. So this is a pretty good update. It gives you a solid idea, at least for April, for May, for June, what games we're looking at, and what I'm going to be tackling. And definitely, the rest of the year, like I said, at this point, it usually doesn't fill out. Probably around the end of June, we'll do this again, and we'll explore the rest of the year and fill out the gaming calendar. So this week, I'm going to go to GameStop, and I'm going to reserve all these games that I mentioned here. Mostly the collector's editions is what I get, if I can get them. That is the problem. A lot of people were talking to me, and they were like, Phil, did you realize that games that you've been picking up recently, like Operation Raccoon City, like Ninja Gaiden 3, that they had collector's editions and you didn't get them? And I said, well, here's the deal. The way that I work, since I have to review so many games and play so many games, I review them. I reserve them in bulk. So I actually had gone in the end of December, and I had reserved all these games here. And what ended up happening was a lot of those games didn't even have collector's editions announced yet, or they weren't available for reserve. So I just reserved them, and then I ended up picking them up, and I don't get a notification, oh, by the way, there's a collector's edition available now. So unfortunately, a lot of those games I didn't pick up the collector's editions, but I will ask specifically that any games that I am, reserving, that I ask for the collector's edition coming up. So. Alright, so that's it for my gaming calendar update. My voice is nice and hoarse now from my allergies, so I hope it was informative. This will answer a lot of questions. Please, if you're going to leave a comment on the video about the shaky camera, don't, because it's a stupid comment that no one cares about, and we already know that I have a back injury, and that's why I can't stand still. I have to actually be moving constantly, or else the pressure on my disc turns into pain, so don't bother. But I hope that this gives you a more clear picture of what I'll be doing over the next few months, and it'll let you clear your schedules appropriately for the games that you would like to see me play. And also, for games like Starhawk, for games that have massive online gameplay potential. Diablo 3 is one of those. Trying to look at the games here and see what are multiplayer games. Clan of Champions, possibly. any games that have this online multiplayer, I might be doing multiplayer with the fans. What I usually do is I see if I can jump into online matches, and then if it's a game that has like a big room, then maybe I actually invite the fans to play with me. And usually I do that, I will announce it on my Twitter account, @they call me DSP. So, alright, so that is it. Hope it was informative. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later.